Hello, my friends. So, I have found 5 books that deal primarily with Afghanistan that have intrigued me enough that I want to check out. And I wanted to share these with you in case there's something that you want to add to your I want to look into TBR, or you're intrigued or want to, whatever you have. Um, I have added these to my intrigue, so I will definitely be reading these at some point in the future. And I am excited to at some point get to these. And I think it will kind of hopefully introduce some new authors. These are all 5 of them will definitely be new to me at the very least. But I am excited to get to them. 3 of them are nonfiction and 2 are fiction. So let's go ahead and talk about these. So again, 3 of these are nonfiction. Let's go ahead and talk about those ones first. They are all memoir biographies, yes. And they're all, I would consider these more, like, it's not categorized as whether it's a young adult or adult, because you can't really, I was going to say you can't really age down someone's life, but there are children's books that are biographies about or memoirs or biographies. Anyway, they're about people in life, but these are more like, if you go to a bookstore, it's going to be in the adult section. That's what I'm getting at. So the first one is called The Broken Circle, a memoir of escaping Afghanistan. So this was written by, this is the one thing with these, I'm going to slaughter these names, but I am going to try to say them. Angela Amadi Miller. So this book is mostly about love and survival, love of family and friends. This starts in the 1980s when Angela's family is uprooted because there's the Soviet invasion that's going on. And so it's going through 5 years of dealing with that, of surviving, of possibly dealing with loss, and, again, dealing with the Soviet invasion in her area, and the love of her family to hopefully support her and her support them. That's all I got from the synopsis. It's hard to, for me, I guess, summarize someone's life when the back is already summarized. So I'm trying to summarize the back that summarizes a book of someone's life. Anyway, yeah. So, but there was this line in the summary that I absolutely loved, and I wanted to share that. It says, "Family is not defined by the borders of a country, but by the bonds of the heart." And I loved that. And if the rest of the book, of the memoir, talks about that and expounds on that, or has other poignant and profound sayings like that, I think I will love that. And it is so true. I mean, you think about all the people that go to another country as a refugee to escape war and to try and have a better life, and they're leaving some family behind, but yeah, look at what they also gain when they meet someone and maybe fall in love and make friends. And it's, everyone, I've heard a lot of people say family is blood. That's not always the case. I mean, if that was 100% true, what about all the kids that are adopted? That saying makes me kind of go, well, are you saying that those that are adopted don't have family? No, they do. They might not be related to their parents or siblings by blood, but they're still in a family. They still have that special bond. That took a tangent. Let's move on to number 2. So number 2 is called The Favored Daughter, One Woman's Flight to Lead Afghanistan into the Future. I think I said flight. One woman's fight to lead Afghanistan into the future. Whew. So this one is by Fazia Kufi, and the co-author, I believe it said co-author, but it's Faziwa Kufi and Nadine Guri. Anyway, so I'm guessing it's Faziwa that this is primarily about. It. She was left, when she was born, she was just basically left to die. But she survived, obviously, if we have a memoir about her. So she survived. How and what took place? Did someone find her? Was she abandoned at a hospital or church, someone's house? Who knows? Did someone hear her cries? So it'd be interesting to see how her survival came to be, at whose hands and things like that. So the one thing it does mention that you've got abuse in this book. So she's had to deal with familial abuse. And then you have the regimes of people trying to invade the country and the war. People have tried to kill her. So not only just leaving her to die, but she's had attempts on her life throughout her life. So that, yeah. It did say that she is the first Afghani woman who is a parliament speaker. And you think about what we know about Afghanistan, which is very little, at least for me personally. One thing that always comes to mind that I've heard several people say is that women are looked down on, I believe, in Afghanistan. And so, but for her to have a place as a parliament speaker is huge. So I would like to see how she got that role and what precipitated that. She has daughters, all of which, no, I'm starting to put one thought into the other. So she has some daughters, and her dream is that her daughters can have a better life. Not only her daughters, but all Afghani women. So I think that'll be great. And what is she going to do to try and help make life better for women in Afghanistan? The third nonfiction is A Woman Among Warlords. Warlords. I have trouble saying that. A Woman Among Warlords. The extraordinary story of an Afghan who dared to raise her voice. So now I've seen this name pop up with a different color. I think the outfit she's wearing is bright pink. And it says I am, and then it's her name. So this is probably a different take on that. I'm not 100% positive because I have not read the first one. And I am just starting to get into kind of like biographies and memoirs and nonfiction in general. So this is by Malalai Joya and Derek O'Keefe. So the person this book is about was raised in refugee camps. And I think that is poignant the word I'm looking for? Relevant. Poignant might be right, don't know. Anyway, relevant today because we hear about refugee camps but yet, at least for me, I really don't know what goes on in those. I've heard rumors. What is true and what is not, I don't know. What's blown out of proportion, I don't know. So I think this will give me some insight as to what actually happens because we'll have a first-hand account. This will be my first time reading a first-hand account of what has gone on during a refugee camp. Now, it may be unique to her. Is an Afghani refugee camp different than those from another country, like a Mexican refugee camp or an Asian refugee camp or whatever the case is? Or are they pretty much across the board? So she was raised in a refugee camp. And she has done some great things. It says that she is basically a secret teacher teaching girls. So I wrote down that she is a teacher in secret girls' schools. So obviously we know that women were looked down on. It sounds like to me that women, at least in some areas of Afghanistan, were not allowed to have a education or to learn. That's how they are viewed, that they're not, I guess, worth being taught to have an education. That's what I'm assuming from what I've read on the back of the book. So there are evidently schools that were developed, not necessarily in a schoolhouse. So it'll be interesting to see where this particular school was. But schools that were developed that were done in secret to teach girls. And she was a teacher of one of these secret schools for girls. It also says that she helped to establish a free medical clinic and opened an orphanage. Both wonderful things. And so I want to see how she came to do that, what her thought process was, what precipitated these events, what drove her to do them, what kind of support did she have, what did she have to fight against to be able to do these wonderful things. And it says, and this was interesting on the back too, and I don't fully understand this other than that there were obviously people that opposed her, and so she was facing a bunch of opposition. So it'll be interesting. So this is something I will definitely maybe learn a little bit more of in this book. And it says she was denounced by NATO-backed warlords. So, which I don't know anything about any of that. So, number 4. Now we're into the fiction books. So number 4 is A House Without Windows. This is written by Nadia Hashimi. This is also an adult book. They're all adult, by the way, all 5 of these. This one is a contemporary historical fiction. So this one follows the life of Zeba or Zeba. Z-E-B-A. Z like Zulu. So Z-E-B-A. Zeba. That's how I'm thinking it. So they have found her husband dead, and she is being accused of her husband's death. She cannot remember the events surrounding the death. So, and obviously everyone's quick to assume that she's the killer. She's thrown into jail, and there are other women in this area who are being accused of crimes, but yet some of them may say life in prison is better than the life that they had outside of prison. You have, what did it say? Women, they were jailed for, there's an unwed pregnancy, someone that did an honor killing, whatever that means, and even just running away. So, Zeba, anyway, so the protagonist, the main character, is an Afghan-born. No, she is not. I was going to say she's an Afghan-born lawyer, but no, it's an Afghan-born lawyer that was raised in America that heads back to Afghanistan to try and help her. I got it. So the lawyer from America returns to Afghanistan, like I said, to try and help her with her situation. So I don't know if we're going to find out if she really did kill her husband or not. If she did, I don't know. So we'll see. So it kind of sounds like there's a little bit of mystery, but it's classified as a contemporary historical fiction. And finally, book number 5. I'm wondering if everyone already has a guess, because I have heard this one talked about so many times. I've heard a lot of people praise this book. I have yet to read that. And there's just so many books out there I want to read, but I want to make this one more of a priority and eventually get to this one. And that is The Kite Runner by Khalid Hosseini. Again, adult. This one is a historical fiction classic. And this one says that it is an unlikely friendship between a, what did they call him? A wealthy, by a wealthy boy and his father's servant's son, who is poor. So basically between a wealthy boy and a poor boy. And goes through with their friendship. And their country is being destroyed. And The Kite Runner is about their friendship and is about finding and learning of the price about betrayal and redemption. So obviously something's going on that someone needs to try and redeem themselves for, but who knows what at this point. But those are the 5 books that are based in Afghanistan and have Afghanistani characters or follow Afghani person. So I hope if you have read these, please let me know if you've enjoyed those books. I still plan on reading them either way, and because it's all opinion. One person will like something, someone else will hate it, and others will think it's just mediocre. But I look forward to reading these. I think biography and memoirs are the way to go for me with nonfiction, because they are more specific. They're not so general and cover a wide range of things. You're following this person through their life, which you can sit down with someone and talk about their life, and that would be interesting. And again, those are the 5 books that deal with Afghanistan in one way or another that I would like to read. Let me know in the comments below if you have read them or not, and if you like them. Are there other books that you have read that deal with Afghanistan in some way that you would recommend? Then maybe I can definitely check them out and add them to my TBR. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book, and I will talk to you later.